Urik. Ini apaan sih ini? Nivelet. Oh my god. Ini apaan anjir? The heck? Ah, anjir sacrificial jet gembel anjir yang dipinjemin. Ya, the weird shit. Bikin malu anjir. Ini apa lagi? Ini apaan sih?
Emerge right now.
Bow your head.
Anjing New Village bagus banget bro. Cuma nyesal gue gak jadi bangsat bebiji.
Solidify.
Emerge right here.
Silence. The tides beckon. I wasn't done.
Mampus gue ya. Mana lagi? Harusnya gue story dulu anjing. Ngapain gue ngeluarin ginian?
Right now. Right here. Emerge. Animal hypostate.
Bow your head. Let the mighty be humble.
Anjing langsung habis cok. What the fuck?
Stabilize.
Right here. Right now. Animal test 6308. Stand clear. Enhanced animal mod.
Silence. The tides beckon.
Spread your wings and raise a storm!
Emerge right now. I'm always watching.
Bow
Where do
your
you
head.
think you're going?
An oversight on my
Buset,
part.
oi.
We'll have order. Solidify.
Absorption test.
Settle down.
Anjing sakit tai. Gue baru tahu ada musuh kayak gitu anjing. Sialan. Gue baru tahu kalau ada musuh kayak gitu, monyong. Udah gitu doang, eventnya gampang anjir. Udah gitu doang. Anjir gampang banget nyari primogem sekarang ya. Buset. Gue ngincer siapa selanjutnya ya? Kayaknya ngincer buat Arkon ini deh. Arkon siapa? Arkon Nathan sekarang anjing. Yaudah, kita sebelum story kita habisin resin dan lain-lain dulu. Kita main setengah hari lah kemarin, kayak kemarin juga nih. Kemarin start story jam 12 kan ya. Sekarang sejam ini kita kelarin lain-lainnya dulu lah, event-eventnya. Numpuk banget anjing story gue bangsat. Tuh. The hell man. Apa-apaan nih anjing? Ayolah rajin-rajin lagi main Genshin lah lu lah. Kimi no toriko ni natte shimae ba kitto kono waso no jujutsu no moto momotore nakusaku surenai te de wo kimochi no setai de shimae ba itsuka kono yume wa samete shimau daro na.
Chivalry will never die.
Teng 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 teng.
Rain cutter, no, my sword. Don't waste my time. Teamwork is dreamwork. Your life is mine. Shine down. Let's light it up. Yeah. You wait. There is no escape. Rain outlines your fate. Let me torn to oblivion.
Bagus dia ini buat tutorial cok. Hydro Archon down.
Illusion shattered. I'm going in. It's nothing. Give up. Witness the power of Gua. Now you shall perish. There is no escape. Don't waste my time. It's nothing. Teamwork is dream. Submit.
New billet. What new billet, bro?
Shine down. Let me weave you a verse. Know my sword. Inazuma shines eternal. Illusion shattered. Give up. Let's light it up. Everybody step. Your life is mine. It's blood repent. Rain cutter. Know my sword. Torn to oblivion.
Berantakan sekali rotasinya sayang. Oh, dapat loh. Ini nggak 20% lagi, tai.
There is no escape. Time to witness the power of Gua. Huh? I'm going in. Now you shall perish. Illusion shattered. Now everybody stand. Give up. Submit. It's nothing. Adventure time. Rain outlines your fate. Rain cutter, know my sword. Give up.
Burik anjing. Kayaknya gue mesti cek-cek artefak buat gue lepas-lepasin deh. Kayak udah terlalu banyak gitu loh yang mesti gue iniin anjing. Jangan buat jalan anjing. Gila 5/5. Oke. Raiden kamu ganti dia ya. Dewa setelah sekian lama anjing dapat artefak bagus satu. Ini buang aja deh, dev buat apa sih anjing? Nggak mungkin juga dipakai di sini soalnya. Apa masih lah. Dev ini anjing, tapi aku takutnya ada anjing. Itu doang. Ada dikit deh. Jangan. Mana Raiden? Ini berapa sih? 14, 36 ya? 21 tambah 35. Tambah 5 tambah 14. 35. Mana tuh lagi tadi anjing yang gue dapet tadi? Ini ya? Ini 22 tambah 13. Jelek banget lagi tapi anjing. Naiknya dikit anjing. Gue pengen 170. Gimana caranya ya? Apa yang mesti diganti biar 170 ya? Ini paling anjing. Pasaknya anjing.
here. Strange. Why isn't he back yet? Gotcha! Charlotte, what are you doing here? Oh, wait, don't tell Paimon you're the one who sent Kiara that threatening letter. But you don't seem like the type to... Threat letter? What threat letter? This is starting to feel like an interrogation. Okay, I'll be straight with you. I don't know the slightest thing about that threat letter you mentioned. I only wanted to follow Monsieur Neuvillette and request an interview with him. You want to interview him? That's right. I'm not the only one, you know. Interviewing him is every journalist's dream. But it's not an easy task to accomplish. The Palais Mermonia rarely accepts appointment requests from us, and we never have the chance to interrupt when the court's in session. So imagine how surprised I was seeing him out on the streets today. It seemed like you were investigating something too. The perfect opportunity to whip up an exclusive, don't you think? Of course, I'll make sure to turn in my manuscript to him for review. I have my principles, and I'd never publish an article without the consent of all parties involved. Yeah, we're doing a secret investigation that can't be made public knowledge. I see. Well, if you say so, I guess I'll put this matter aside for now. Oh, what a shame. Chances like this don't come by very often, you know. In exchange, could you tell me what the threat letter is about? I swear I won't tell. All right, then. What? Someone's targeting a cute little Melazine? Shh, not so loud. It just so happens that I did an interview with Kiara. Last month, in fact. It was well received by our readers, so I was planning to continue the series. And now someone's coming after her. I'll ask my colleagues about it. Who knows? We might find something. And don't worry, I know what I'm doing. This secret's safe with me. But I gotta warn you, even if I keep my lips sealed, others will know eventually. Why? People care a great deal about Monsieur Neuvillette's each and every move. Some may have already realized that something was up. Besides, the case involves Melazines, so... Anyway, I'll get going now. Watch yourselves, all right? Well, that was a nice chat. Let's head back and check on Kiara.
What do you think? The design looks pretty good, huh?
I think it's great!
Huh. It's very pretty indeed.
Harand! What are you doing here? It seems that you just showed up out of nowhere!
As I passed by the Palais Mermonia, I heard that Neuvillette was investigating a case with you. Technically speaking, he and I are under an employer-employee relationship. It didn't feel right to have my employer personally take on such trivial cases. I happened to have some time at the moment, and came to take a look. I sometimes have my clothes custom-made at this boutique, in any case, so we always have a lot to talk about.
Ah, Neuvillette sure is lucky to have someone like you.
Leave this to me. You should go meet up with Neuvillette.
Okay then, we'll leave Kiara in your hands. Come on, let's go find Neuvillette.
What shall we do?
Ready for a rehearsal? There are still so many places for us to explore.
Gimana kabar Nu? Sehat? Oh iya, lu belum nge-add orang anjing. Halo Jennifer, aku lagi mode chilling nih, udah 3 bulan nggak main Genshin nih.
All the world's dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging.
Masa 3 bulan? Iya, sebenarnya main, cuman login doang gitu loh, ngecek banner buat gacha doang. Habis itu nggak main, nggak pernah daily segala macam soalnya. Lihatnya numpuk ini. Login doang nggak main tapi, ngerti nggak? Sekedar update, login, tapi nggak dimainin tuh. Tapi masih ada ginian tuh, ngambil quest doang. Nggak dapat misi, cuman login doang, tapi nggak dimainin. Lama nih kelarin questnya. Jadi banyak quest aku. Ini quest lagi apa lagi nih anjir?
Oh, you're back. Is everything all right?
We ran into Kemarin. She offered to help us protect Kiara.
That is good to hear. I trust her abilities. It looks like Kiara is in good hands.
We thought so too. Well, did you find any leads?
I've been looking over the case records, specifically inspection reports submitted by Kiara and major cases I've judged over the past decade. I've come up with 2 plans. On one hand, I could start with Kiara and track down the group behind all this step by step. On the other, I could also analyze the conflicting interests of these major cases and confirm my suspicions if there is indeed a mysterious group that bears a grudge against me.
They both sound like pretty solid plans, but can you really finish browsing through all these documents? That's a lot of reading even for Paimon.
Don't worry. I'm a fast reader when it comes to official documents. After all, I have several hundred years of reviewing under my belt.
We'll help you read through them. We have nothing else to do.
Thank you. I will continue looking through the ones piled up on the desk, but feel free to browse through anything else in this room. Have you made any progress?
We skimmed through some of them, but there wasn't anything useful. Oh, there are so many documents lying around. Just how many cases have you handled?
I would love to answer that question, but the truth is I've never made a precise calculation myself. If memory serves me right, there should be at least 100,000 cases. The documents you see are just a small fraction of what's really there.
Whoa, that's a lot. Looks like the work of a Chief Justice isn't easy at all.
That might be how it seems from another's perspective, but trials and official duties are, to me, simply routine. There are many documents here. Take a break if you are tired.
You read Paimon's mind.
All right. Let us take a break then.
Even though resting is a part of taking a break, shouldn't we at least talk about something? All this silence is making Paimon feel really awkward.
Please pardon my lack of consideration. People rarely come to the Palais Mermonia for matters outside of work. To be quite honest, I am not sure what we should do. Would you like to have some drinks, perhaps? You must be thirsty after all that work.
Ooh, drinks! Thank you! Paimon wonders what Novelette likes to drink. Oh, maybe he's a fan of really fancy wines. He seems like the type of person who'd own an entire winery. You know, like Diluc. What's inside these glasses? It looks just like water.
An astute observation. It is indeed water.
So it's just plain old water?
What did you think it was?
Since you're the Chief Justice and all, Paimon thought you'd prefer something more sophisticated.
This water is indeed very special. It would not be an overstatement to call it sophisticated.
Huh?
I believe you've already tried Fonta. In fact, there are many other drink factories in Fontaine, including those that specialize in packaging pure drinking water. Said water is sourced from all across Tevat, including Mondstadt's Cider Lake, Liyue's Chintsa Village, and Inazuma's Konda Village. Here is one of their latest products, water from Sumeru's Apam Woods. If I were to comment on their mouthfeel, the waters of Cider Lake warm the heart. The waters of Chintsa Village have a poignant touch, while one might call the waters of Konda Village placid. Distinct differences exist between the waters of each area. You will appreciate their intricacies once you taste them carefully.
Really? Let Paimon try!
What do you think?
Nope. Paimon couldn't taste any difference at all. Isn't this just normal water?
How regrettable. It seems like you still have a long way to go in refining your tastes.
Hey, this doesn't have to do with refining our taste. Paimon's pretty sure most ordinary people can't tell the difference. How did you do it anyway? Oh, could it be because you're the Hydro Dragon? We are allowed to bring that up, right? Since no one else is around? Oh, Paimon's been wanting to ask this for ages. If you're the Hydro Dragon, why would you become Chief Justice in human society? Sorry. Paimon was just curious. You don't have to answer.
There's nothing to hide. I was simply organizing my thoughts. I accepted this position because I wanted to seek out answers to questions that have perplexed me.
Questions? Are there really things you can't figure out?
Many, in fact. But the one question that puzzles me the most concerns my own existence. In essence, I neither know why I was born in this form, nor do I understand where my long life should take me. I lost many memories from the moment I was born. The primordial sea, for example. I can only vaguely recall its connection to me, but I am unaware of what that connection is exactly. Perhaps the elemental dragons of other nations may have some form of an answer. However, they are scattered across all of Tevat. Abruptly visiting could very well pose an unpredictable risk.
True. Some of them have very unique personalities, too.
I have been holding on to these unanswered questions for a long time. But there is one thing I've discovered along the way. My emotions easily resonate with those of others. Even I don't have the slightest idea what they mean. My guess would be that there are at least some similarities between humans and myself. By observing their behavior, perhaps I could one day understand the meaning of my existence.
Have you made any progress then?
Perhaps, but I find such progress difficult to describe. As an outsider, chances to engage in meaningful interactions with others are few and far between. That's why I'm quite thankful for this chat. Such opportunities are rare. Alas, time is limited. We should move on with our investigation.
Are we gonna continue reading these documents? Paimon's getting dizzy already.
I wasn't able to find any leads even after browsing through most of the documents. But while we were on the topic of water a moment ago, another idea came to me.
Water? Do you mean...
That's right. The Fountain of Lucine is where all of Fontaine's waters converge. It is the vessel of countless memories and emotions. If there really were an organization attempting to use Melusines against me, they should also hold an intense resentment towards me. Perhaps we'll be able to find some new leads by sensing the hydro element within the fountain.
Huh. Why didn't Paimon think of that? Come on, let's go take a look!
Perhaps we should go. There shouldn't be too many people near the Fountain of Lucine during the evening.
Monsieur Neuvillette?
I probably shouldn't disturb them.
Looks like we got lucky today. There's hardly anyone around.
What should we do next? Oh, Traveler, can you still hear the voices from the fountain?
Perhaps leave the investigation to me. I need you to take a few steps back and keep a safe distance.
A safe distance? Neuvillette, what exactly are you... Whoa, it's glowing!
Ini di mana anjing?
Thank you for bringing us here, Monsieur Neuvillette. The court of Fontaine is truly incredible. There's so many things I've never seen or heard before.
I understand your excitement, but there's no need to thank me. Although I have responded to your wishes, it was not without personal interest. Melusine's special sight make them especially suited for joining the Maréchaussée Phantom. I'm certain you'll become an indispensable part of Fontaine's detective force.
I know, but I'm really glad to be of help. Not only can I repay you for your kindness, but also, it feels like my life has become a lot more meaningful.
But a meaningful life also comes with its risks.
It's definitely the safest to just stay in the village. But I want to see the outside world nonetheless. In truth, I've never really understood the purpose of my existence, or what I'm capable of contributing to this world. For almost 20 years, we've stayed in our village without finding any answers. That's why we wanted to leave our village and look for the meaning of our existence elsewhere.
I understand your confusion. In fact, I feel the same way. I too came here for an answer to my questions about my own existence.
Really? Could you tell us what we should do to fit in as you did? The truth is, many people threw rocks at us today and told us to go back to our village. It hurt a lot when they hit me in the head.
Oh my god.
I tried really hard not to cry.
Logically speaking, both time and effort are essential when different species attempt to peacefully coexist. It will be a difficult road ahead, with countless obstacles to overcome. Different identities and ways of thinking all contribute to strengthening the barrier between one another. Removing it will be no easy feat. There aren't many suggestions I can share, because just like you, I haven't fully integrated into this society. Despite my social status, I am still an outsider.
Oh, I see. Let's all do our best then. I'm confident that we'll find the meaning of our existence one day.
I believe in you, but you shouldn't lose sight of the difficulties ahead. If you run into any trouble, I suggest that you inform Vautrin, the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
Huh? Is he the person I met in the Palais Marmonia earlier?
Yes? Do you have any concerns?
That stone-faced human. He didn't even bother to look at me when I tried talking to him. It felt like he wasn't interested in anything but work.
He is an earnest man. There will be plenty of opportunities to work together in the future, so please try to get along.
Hello. Can I help with anything?
Thanks, but no need.
Oh. Hello, I'm Carol, a Melazine. Is there anything you need help with?
Get away from here! I'm calling the guards!
Please, calm down. I don't mean to cause any harm.
Hard to say.
Yeah, we should probably stay away from these monsters. Haven't you realized? Strange incidents have been increasing ever since they came.
Why should we trust this species from who knows where anyway? I can't believe Nervilat allowed them into the court of Fontaine just like that.
Exactly. That so-called Chief Justice even granted them official positions. Not only that, but they're now responsible for investigating cases as well. I swear, there's some hidden agenda at play here.
Go away! Quit acting innocent!
I'm not leaving. I won't let you say bad stuff about him. We joined the Mare Chaussee Phantom and solved lots and lots of cases. We've never done anything wrong.
Solving cases? With Nervilet in cahoots with you? You could have fabricated it all, and no one would know. So tell me, how can you guarantee that you Melazines aren't involved in anything that occurred recently?
Didn't I tell you before? Don't go advertising if you're not a good talker.
Vautrin?
Aside from spreading unjustified rumors, if you continue insulting members of the Mare Chaussee Phantom, the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol has every right to subject you to interrogation. There have indeed been an increase in cases recently, perhaps due to the shifting currents of conspiracy, and I understand your concern. However, there's been no evidence pointing towards Melazines being involved.
Even the captain of the security patrol is on their side. Nervilet's newly reformed police force is already corrupt to the core.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
You heard that?
Yeah. I don't understand. Why won't anyone believe us?
There have been rumors saying that you were born from calamity, and that you inherently bring danger to those around you. There are countless negative rumors about you floating around in Fontaine. It's near impossible for you to become a part of this society. Best if you give up before it's too late.
Monsieur Nervilet said that we needed to put both time and effort in. I don't know how long it'll take, but I can at least try making my best effort. I still want to try a little harder. Thank you for bailing me out earlier. Okay, I won't be taking any more of your time. I painted a lot of flyers last night, so I have to stay and hand them out to everyone.
Give them to me.
You're not gonna take them away, right?
We'll hand them out together. The faster we get this done, the sooner we can head back.
Monsieur Nervilet, what's this?
Medals of Peace, awarded to you and Vautrin. Thank you for your continued dedication in the past 5 years. You've taken one small step forward in helping Melusines gain the trust of humans.
I think I'll pass.
Hey, don't say that. We wouldn't have made it this far without you. It won't be long before Melusines begin living peacefully with the humans. Just the thought of it makes me happy.
Don't keep your hopes up. We've barely scratched the surface. There's still a long way to go before that dream of yours comes true.
Ugh, you blockhead! Don't ruin the mood!
Vautrin brings up a good point. The trust humans have placed in you is still very fragile. Any small incident could undermine the hard work you've put in. Please be on your guard for the next few days.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Medal of Peace? Peace isn't going to give us back what's rightfully ours.
Are you sure we should do this? We're no match for Nervilet, even with all our powers combined. What if...
Nah, not gonna happen. As long as he remains in his position, there's no chance he'd take us out personally. There are rules even he must comply with in the political sphere, unless he wants to become an enemy of Fontaine. So quit worrying and just go ahead with it. I've already planned out the murder. Once we lay the blame on the Melusines as the person who brought them to the court of Fontaine, Nervilet will be left with no excuse.
I guess you're right. Ugh. If he just left things the way they were, it never would have come to this. But he's forced our hand. Time to teach him a lesson.
Turn the murderer in!
Melusines can't be trusted! That goes for Nervilet, too!
Oh my god.
Peaceful coexistence? What a joke. Get out of the court of Fontaine and don't ever come back!
The results of the investigation are in, Captain Vautrin.
Go on.
There is no direct evidence, but reasonable inference indicates that the ones controlling the situation are supporters of the old regime, whose interests have been undermined by the reform. They tricked Miss Carroll into going to the crime scene and pressed charges against her. After that, they incited panic among the people in order to make Monsieur Neuvillette confess to his mistakes and yield up power. The guards were stopped by the enraged mob and couldn't intervene in time. Miss Carroll chose to sacrifice herself to pacify the situation.
And she called me a blockhead. A little investigation would have cleared things up. Why didn't she wait until we'd established the truth? She didn't have to prove her innocence like that.
The situation had rapidly escalated to a physical altercation between infuriated citizens and the guards. Miss Carroll might have thought there was no better plan.
That is indeed something she'd do.
Captain Vautrin, should I present these results to Monsieur Neuvillette right away?
There's no need. Notify the guards to restrict public access to all information.
Restrict access to... Wait, are you planning to...
There's something I've never told Carol. I had a little sister named Ilaria who passed away when I was very young. She's just like Carol in every possible way. Innocent, kind, always believing the best of people. People like her are the most vulnerable to deception and betrayal. From the moment I met Carol, I knew that she'd be easily manipulated by others. I kept a cold demeanor and tried lecturing her into giving up.
Looks like she was unfazed by that.
Yes. In fact, some of her spirit must have rubbed off on me instead. Because I too began working towards that pie-in-the-sky dream of hers. I should have known. Those cowards don't have the guts to confront Neuvillette. They even avoided causing trouble for me. They were after Carol all along. Can you understand how I feel? Right now, there's only one thought on my mind. Only through bloodshed can their debt be repaid.
I understand, but I'm certain Monsieur Neuvillette wouldn't accept that as a solution.
That's exactly why we need to keep this a secret. Give me the list of suspects. What happens after this has nothing to do with any of you. I will take responsibility for everything.
Oh my god, Carol. Oh my god, no.
Did you know? They're hearing a major case today, and the criminal is Captain Vautrin of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol. Apparently, he resorted to personal measures to seek revenge for Carol and settled the score with the group that framed his friend. Hey, why aren't you saying anything?
I'm thinking... we should try our best to bail him out when the trial commences.
Bail him out? Why?
Shh, keep it down! Haven't you realized? Both Vautrin and Carol are Nervillette's most trusted subordinates. After everything that happened to Carol, Nervillette's guaranteed to do everything he can to keep Vautrin around. Besides, now that the old regime has been uprooted, Nervillette's status is secure as can be. As long as we redirect public opinion, Neuvillette will be able to give Vautrin a reprieve. The benefits are endless.
Vautrin sought vengeance for his friend for a valid cause. This represents the justice he upholds. Please, think about it. If the same thing had happened to you, wouldn't you feel the same way he did? Yeah, that's right!
This whole thing started because of those despicable cowards who levied false accusations against Carol. How could Vautrin be declared guilty for seeking revenge?
Monsieur Neuvillette.
Mr. Vautrin is innocent! He's innocent!
Order! I acknowledge your arguments. Vautrin, your revenge could be seen as a form of justice. I understand your decision, which is why I cannot help but feel regret and even grief about the judgment I must now impose. Personal justice does not equate to justice as defined by the law. To execute your plan for revenge, you abused your authority and conducted informal executions. Your actions have thus violated the law. Therefore, you will be declared guilty.
What? That can't be! Monsieur Nervillet, please give this a little more thought. He has done so much for Fontaine.
Vautrin, my friend, is there anything else you want to say?
Nervillet, what have I done to deserve this? I've closely followed every one of your orders. Can't you see? Everyone in this room believes that I'm innocent. Why can't you just let me off? Is this what justice means to you? Answer me, Nervillet!
Order. Since there have been no further objections, the Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vautrin. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Mr. Vautrin will be declared guilty.
Goodbye, Monsieur Nervillet.
This all happened because of Carol's naive ideas.
How can different species peacefully coexist anyway?
Hey, stop spacing out! What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?
Apologies, it seems like my memories got the better of me. I tried my best to suppress the power of Hydro within myself, but it seems like it still caused the emotions within the Fountain of Lucine to boil over. Due to my negligence, the overflow of emotions and memories must have affected you as well. Are you all right?
Wow. The Hydro Dragon is more powerful than Paimon thought. Anyways, the last time we came here, the Traveler only heard voices from the Fountain of Lucine. No emotions boiling over or anything.
It is as you said. This might be because I am different. It is not only the fountain. I can sense emotions from all waters in Fontaine. Rivers, lakes, and even the rain.
That sounds awesome!
But I rarely ever do anything like this. Emotions carried by water are always chaotic and disconnected. As an outsider, having my mind occupied with irrelevant memories isn't exactly a pleasant experience. Which ones? It's fine. I prefer not to speak of those memories. That does not mean I am deliberately hiding them. It was a coincidence, but perhaps it is a good thing that you saw everything in that form. You should now understand why I believe there to be a conspiracy behind all this. These two cases are much too similar. I felt like I needed to do something.
Paimon's starting to lose track of what you're saying. Don't leave Paimon out of the conversation. Paimon wants to help too.
Then let us get back to the point. While I was investigating the fountain, I discovered something strange. I did not sense too much hatred towards me within its accumulated emotions. I don't know what caused this to happen, but it seems like there won't be a shortcut to finding the organization that may be pulling the strings here. However, I did find some resentment directed towards Kiara. If I remember correctly, it seemed to be related to a smuggling case.
Oh! Didn't we read about that in one of the documents?
You've read about it? In that case, the resentment should have come from that incident.
Huh? What are you doing here? I was just about to look for you at the Palais Mermonia.
Navia! Nice to see you again! Is there
I've heard some things, but I'm not purposely asking around or anything. Don't worry. Rumors are abroad that someone's scheming against Melusines, and that you're investigating the case. So I told the Spina di Rosula to keep an eye out for leads. We've had unfamiliar faces showing themselves at the Fleuve Cendre lately. Maybe you'll find the suspects among them.
Thank you. Where did you hear about all this?
The Chief Justice out on investigation, accompanied by the Traveler from afar. No matter how you conceal your whereabouts, there will be countless eyes watching you. You talked to Kiara, but didn't ask her to keep things secret. People curious to know asked around for information, then it was only a matter of time before word of the threatening letter spread all across Fontaine.
So that's what Charlotte meant.
Indeed. I did not expect that this could be kept hidden for too long, but the rumors still spread faster than I imagined.
You know, it could be because you attract more attention than you think. Anyway, any progress with the investigation?
The suspects who threatened Kiara might have to do with a certain smuggling case, but it is still uncertain if there is in fact another party behind all this. We are planning to return to the Palais Marmonia to revisit some details and identify the senders of that threatening letter.
All right, then I'll round up the Spina di Rosula and follow up on their progress. Wait for my word. Ta-ta!
Dah.
Neverlet, do you think there'll be any problems now that the word is out?
I have already considered that possibility, and I do not think that there will be any. As a matter of fact, once the word gets out, no one would dare to harm Kiara in broad daylight. What is more important is how the case is perceived by the public. 400 years ago, they chose to side with the old regime and direct their resentment towards the Melusines. I hope the same won't happen again. Let us head back to the Palais.
Strange. What are these people doing out on the streets so late at night? Did something happen? Let's take a look around.
Have you heard? Someone's plotting against a Melusine. This is 100% the truth. Even the Chief Justice is investigating in person.
What? That's it! Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
Our enemies are lurking in the shadows and won't easily reveal themselves. But no amount of hiding will keep us from finding them.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. The guards have already begun to take action. We can't just stand by and watch. Think about how much we owe them. Now that they're in danger, how can we just sit back and do nothing?
Everyone, please stay alert to your surroundings from now on. If you see any suspicious persons, report them to the guards immediately.
Wah, dijagain.
It feels like you've been following me this whole time. Did something happen?
We were informed that. Nope. We just finished our shifts and happened to be strolling by.
Have you had dinner yet? Why don't we check out the new items at the dessert shop together?
This isn't a good time to be out and about. Come on, don't act tough. I bet you're hungry too.
All right, let's go buy a cake or something.
You shouldn't ever skip meals, especially if you have another shift scheduled for later.
I heard even Nervilette's keeping an eye on the situation. This is the perfect chance to get promoted. We gotta make sure we give it all we've got.
Seriously? Were you planning to shirk your duties if Nervilette wasn't involved?
Relax, I was just playing. We've worked together for years now. If something happened to them, I'd be haunted by regret for the rest of my life.
That's more like it. We should stand guard until the criminal has been caught.
Come and fight me instead, you cowards!
Have you heard? Even the Special Patrol came to help.
Shh! Look! Is it that Nervilette? I think he's looking at us.
Looks like there's nothing to worry about.
This is truly wonderful.
Wanna go over and say hi?
No, I should stay where I am. My appearance could give rise to unnecessary commotion. Let us stick to our plan and return to the Palais Mermonia. The faster we uncover the truth, the better. The smuggling case was solved by the joint forces of the guards and the Maréchaussée Phantom. This is the one. The list of involved suspects should be... Ah, found it.
What does it say?
The principal offenders Domenico, Inica, Yuna, and others have been caught. They have been sent to the fortress of Meropide following trial. Those with close connections or mutual interests with the offenders but who did not participate in the case will not stand trial. Among them, surveillance of Essin has ceased on account of his good behavior. All other personnel remain on our watch list.
So many names. Is the one who sent that threatening letter to Kiara on the list?
Yes, there is something suspicious about Essin, to be precise. It seems like he's closely related to the core members of the smuggling case, and he moves around without much restriction.
Monsieur Neuvillette, someone claiming to be from the Spina Durasula just checked in with us. He said, and I quote, "We have located the suspect. They're chatting at the cafe."
Huh? How did Navia find them so quickly? We've only just figured out the suspect's name!
I too am perplexed. The cafe isn't too far from here. We should head over and take a look.
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today!
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies. Monsieur Neuvillette did say you'd be welcome at any time.
Excuse me, would you mind helping me take a look at this report?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here. You can see yourselves in.
Everyone's so busy. Seems a lot has been happening.
Oh, ini gara-gara kayak ini nih storynya anjing nabrak. Tahu gua bangsat.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment, as there are some urgent matters I must tend to first. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink, let the Melusine outside know.
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the fortress of Meropide, and it appears that you've managed to complete all the release paperwork.
That's right, and we came here to see you right away.
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume that Child is presently immersed in primordial seawater.
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes, what is it?
Ah, right! Paimon felt it too! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about it.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what I was busy with a moment ago. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose? Oh no! What about all the people there?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time and have already returned to normal now. However, I still have a bad feeling about the whole phenomenon. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than it appears.
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding coastal areas to avoid potential catastrophes. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation once I finish things here.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Tiba-tiba di sini anjing, belum gua ini dulu. Wah, anjing. Story-nya banyak yang nabrak.
Inactivities. There's no purpose.
You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Linny. And where's your sister? Ain't she with you today? Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us. Let's not drag this out.
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister! Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions, missy. You ain't gonna need answers where you're going. Capiche?
Looks like we can't avoid this fight. Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I hope you're ready to back me up.
Don't worry, we got this!
Shine down!
I see everything! Time for takeoff.
Curses. Tougher than we thought.
Vision wielders are always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like it did on the lady.
Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through with you yet! Oh, they got away! Did you catch what they said just before they left? Something about intimidating someone else. Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic, and they've already done it to someone else, but who? You're right. She was injured when we saw her yesterday, and she acted like she had something to hide. she was too scared to tell us the truth because those guys had threatened her.
Well, if that's the case, she should be more willing to open up to us once she learns that those thugs won't be bothering her anymore. Let's head back to the cafe and see if we can get any information from her.
Gemma?
You again. What is it this time?
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and we gave them a taste of their own medicine. So, you can relax now. We're here to protect you.
What? Why? I didn't tell you anything. Why would they come after you?
Sounds like they're no strangers to you.
Persona Tactics rilis. Bray. Gue bimbang anjing mau beli Persona Tactics apa Lies of P. Antara dua itu anjing akhir bulan ini mau beli game. Cuma nggak tahu antara dua itu Nalda. Antara Persona Tactics atau Lies of P itu antara dua itu anjing mang. Bebangke beli apa ya gue ya? Mana Persona 3 ini mau keluar akhir tahun ini gak sih? Persona 3 apa namanya? Bentar deh. Mana sih YouTube? Persona 3 Reload. Release date-nya itu setahu gue enggak Februari. Masih lama deh. Tahun depan Februari. Masih aman berarti. Iya, lagi bingung antara Lies of P apa Taktika anjing. Ntar gue pikir belum juga beli Yakuza. Yakuza Zero belum. Yakuza Zero mah beli di ini aja, Xbox aja. Sewa Xbox. Belum itu. Xbox Game Pass ada om. Apaan Xbox Game Pass? Taktika. Seriusan Taktika ada Xbox Game Pass? Ya udah nanti Selasa gue beli dah. Oh ya udah nanti Selasa gue beli. Main kita Selasa berarti anjing. Kalau gitu Selasa gue beli, habis itu beli Lies of P juga. Oke, 2 game. Cek aja om. Aduh ntar lagi streaming anjir. Xbox. Ada nih bentar. Aduh lama nih Xbox, udah lama gak gue buka soalnya. Oh ada cok. Nih Like a Dragon belum included with Game Pass. Nice. Trial anjing. Tahu tak keluar email lagi anjing. Tak keluar email, kebaca email gua. Oh bisa nih, bisa. Oke ntar hari Selasa ya. Anjay, Selasa kita main bro. Taktika bro.
That's putting it mildly. I know them all too well, and I hate them with every fiber of my being. It's been 10 long years, and still every time I try to look into Caesar's death, they show up and warn me not to do anything stupid.
Tadi udah berarti banyak anjing. Nggak cuma Taktika juga, ada Yakuza 3 juga. Gue belum main Yakuza 3 soalnya. Nah nih ada Game Pass kan. Wah, anjir ya. Game Pass sih ngirit duit, cok. 3, 4, 5, 6. Sampai 6 gua anjing. Wah, udah fix Game Pass buying anjing. Sampai 6 anjing. Udah ada taktika, ada persona ada Yakuza sampai 6. Gue udah tamat sampai kapan sih anjing? Bentar deh. Gue udah main sampai 2 setahu gue ya. Sampai 2, gue baru sampai 2. Kita lanjut 3 sampai 6. Bisa taktika dulu deh. Deh, lanjut dulu gue story.
How do I know I can trust you? Do you really think you can get to the bottom of it all? And why are you doing this?
Kok mereka mau ya? Maksudnya itu game baru loh, Persona 5 taktika loh. Tapi mereka mau gitu di Game Passin anjing.
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. I will expose the Phantom Weasel's true identity. Because you see, this is a personal matter of the utmost importance. I give you my word. Trust me.
Okay. How can I help you?
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his personal effects. If possible, I'd like to take a look at them. Do you know where it is?
Xbox-nya yang banyak kalau iya kayaknya Xbox-nya, Xbox Game Pass deh yang kayak bayar banyak buat ini. Kayak gue bayar ini banyak buat di Game Passin biar balik modal dulu. Kalau banyak yang beli beli Game Pass balik modal tuh dia. Tapi kalau udah banyak ngeluarin duit banyak tapi kagak ada yang beli Game Pass buat main taktika sih rugi anjing.
The Fleuve Sonde. But the place was sealed up by the police after his death, and no one's been there since. I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around. If you're serious about going there, please be careful.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of Gemma. Don't let her come to harm.
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too. They're likely to come for you while I'm away.
Okay. Alright. Power saving mode off. I'll start taking this more seriously now.
Bulan. Udah. Masih kalangan nggak? Masih kalangan nggak? Masih anjir. Gila, story gue sih banyak banget hari ini anjing. Mulai sana ada schedule streaming nih.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. Let's shift them away first. There we go. It should be just down here.
Elemen api anjing rekomendasi, Cok.
We're companions! Hooray! Chivalry will never die.
What shall we do?
There are still so many places for us to explore.
Step right up.
So this was Caesar's workshop. Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh, is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
Step right up.
Yeah.
Stabilize!
Everyone hold hands.
Witness the power of Gua. Rain out. Mine's your fate.
Go Bishop down! Time for a light show. Whoa. Look. The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the cup. These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. There's a distinct lack of mystery. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. I'm starting to wonder whether Caesar built this whole place as one big, elaborate magic contraption. If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room somewhere. Aha! If I just move this book, then hopefully... And... presto!
I
I'm a magician too, and apparently great minds really do think alike. Looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
AFK bentar geng, ke warung beli cemilan.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you? I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure. This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you? So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off. I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure. So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off. This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you? I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure.
Oracle mekanik dan analis kardinal. Di mana ya inian gue? Jangan kau nyanyi lagu itu, bosan aku di IG rata-rata gitu.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you?
Bentar aku lagi buat schedule Takayami. Halo. Apa ya schedule kedua ya?
So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off.
Oh, PM.
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure. So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off.
Ini Selasa, Rabu.
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure. So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off.
Solidify!
Hey!
Time to act. Ring cutter! No, my sword!
Stabilize!
I see everything!
Witness the power of Guhua! Huh?
The fuse is lit! Why have you stopped, Lenny? Is there some device in that box?
Huh. It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead. If anyone makes a major discovery, let's rendezvous here.
All right, see you in a bit. Seems like we can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh? Wow! There's a hidden room here! This book's thick as a brick! Let's take a peek inside it, shall we?
It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me about it. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those two children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems like they're not new to the world of magic. They have all sorts of fantastic ideas. All I'm really doing is helping them develop a more professional standard training plan. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician worth their salt could have taught them what I have. They're the geniuses here. Compared to them, I don't deserve to be called any sort of master. With time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians than I. My only concern is why they're so mature for their age. I fear they've had to grow up too fast. I don't dare to imagine what they must have been through. Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too piercing. They don't bother me, but then again, I've never been the sharpest tool in the shed. Two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to ask this, of course, but I've never seen any of them as serious about it as these two. I told them that learning magic is very hard work, but that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew. They seemed so committed. I couldn't turn them down. At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked me how I pulled candy out of my hat. As a joke, I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole bunch of kids were pestering me to pull all sorts of things out of the hat. So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down. Well, they took me up on that offer, enthusiastically. As I write this, I've only just got back from running around all over town, buying the things they wanted. Boy, are my legs sore. I wound up saving very little this month, but that's not a major issue. I now have a bigger problem. How am I going to hide all these things inside my hat? It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the two kids if they'd like to come with me, but they shook their heads. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents have other plans for them. I guess we'll be parting ways soon. It's only been 10 days since I first met them, but I think that I've gotten a feel for their personalities now. They're very tough, but also very cautious, and they trust no one but each other. This, I fear, is not a good habit to have. They hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live and why they wanted to learn magic, they lied. That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover something up, it always shows somehow. I can sense that their lives have been hard, possibly even dangerous too. They're not like other children. It's a shame that I can't do more to help them. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. It's full of lies and falsehoods, and that is why we must find our own truth. P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm than good for someone they've only known 10 days to lecture them like that? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. It probably just went in one ear and out the other. I bet they've already forgotten every word I said. Oh, Caesar, Caesar. Just mind your own business next time.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Linny and Lynette, don't you think? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Linny?
Shh, hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
Fishy? Uh-oh, what have you found?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high-altitude escape is performed. First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air, and a short while later, the base automatically opens. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they start wailing and screaming. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance. Oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my death?
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it. And then what?
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking. The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, Caesar was the one who fell out, and not the dummy. He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the Opera House. No one could hope to survive that fall. Not without a vision, at least. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what I could gather from his notes and the relevant gadgets here in his workshop.
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done, huh? Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous, it's probably for the best that no one else tries to do it. Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real magician go? How does he get out?
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of said box. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Inside, there's a device that only the magician himself would know about. Once the magician's inside and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is fixed at a certain angle. From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trap door onto the Opera House roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even Paimon could probably do it.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is controlling the audience's mood and reactions. That takes an exceptional degree of showmanship. There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression that there's no escape. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic accident to the joy and laughter of a mesmerizing magic trick. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician, but unfortunately, even he didn't manage to pull it off.
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fishy stuff here. Have you figured out what really happened?
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough, he always used his right hand as his dominant hand in public.
Okay. Nothing suspicious there.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here, which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact left-handed. Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention on the most important details of the task or situation at hand. But a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid arousing their suspicion. The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. Great magic always requires sacrifices. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. He'd barely need to think about what he was doing because muscle memory would guide him through. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two, until the bottom of the box gave way. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious and conclude that his death was due to his own error.
When in reality, someone switched the boxes, and they did it to murder him. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was always by his side.
Halo Kai, ngapain lu ketawa-tawa monyong? Gue streaming udah 2 jam aja dengerin cerita doang bangsat. Tahu nggak sih? Kan gue main udah lama ya. Nggak main kan ya? Story numpuk. Lo tahu kan story itu numpuk gimana? Jadi misalkan mau ngajarin story ini tapi tiba-tiba bentrok sama story ini. Habis itu pas sudah storynya udah gak bentrok, gue lanjutin story yang itu, tiba-tiba bentrok lagi. Pas sudah maju bentrok lagi sama story yang ini. Jadi saling bentrok gitu loh. Jadi kayak gue ngerjain story pindah-pindah anjing storynya bangsat. Tadi Nuvilet, tiba-tiba pas tengah-tengah tiba-tiba keganti sendiri storynya jadi storynya Lini. Anjing apaan dah? Tadi perasaan Nuvilet tiba-tiba ke Lini kayak satu story tapi satu tempat yang sama gitu loh. Jadi kayak satu bentrok udah kelar nih, yang bentrok nih satu bread, pas udah kelar story itu langsung lanjut ke story ini. Jadi kayak what the fuck man, perasaan tadi story nggak ini anjing. Kayak aja jadi kayak mikir gitu, kayak mikir 3 story sekaligus, emang sialan anjing.
Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you? There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know.
Sejak kapan nggak quest emang?
Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal
Ini kayak yang bikin banyak tuh, gue nggak quest tuh di 4.1 terakhir, kan 4.2 gue belum. Sebenarnya dikit kalau dipikir-pikir mah. Pokoknya 4.1 kan sampai si Nuvilet ngasih tahu kalau dia tuh naga kan, naga hydro gitu. Udah sampai situ tuh. Cuman yang bikin banyak tuh kayak story quest karakternya kayak kan setiap patch kan ada story quest karakter kan, tiba-tiba ada story quest ini, ada story quest Nuvilet, ada story quest ini kita tahu kan maksud gue itu. Nah jadi banyak gitu loh. Pas gue udah gue klaim-klaimin jadi banyak gitu loh. Arkon questnya mah cuma satu, cuman story questnya gitu nih yang bikin nabrak story quest anjing. Story quest karakter. Sialan emang. Yang pakai kunci itu loh, kunci itu. Itu yang bikin banyak anjing. Kayak gue ngerjain Arkon Quest di 4.1 cuman Arkon Questnya doang. Cuman kalau Story Quest tuh dari 4.0 belum gue kerjain sama sekali Story Quest karakter. Jadi kayak numpuk banyak anjing, bangsat. Makanya jangan diklaim dulu kayak gue. Emang penyesalan anjing. Kayak bangsat. Tadi lucu gitu, tadi gue cerita anjir. Tiba-tiba gue lagi di meja kerjanya Nuvilet kan, lagi di Palais Pavonia ya. Sampai nama kantornya Nuvilet. Lagi di kantor Nuvilet ngobrol-ngobrol bla bla bla, nyari pembunuh pengen nyari pembunuh yang mau ngebunuh Melusin. Anjing di situ gue sedih tadi anjing. Gue baca story anjing, sedih banget, kasihan gitu Melusin pengen hidup sama manusia bla 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 bla. Gue sedih kan. Habis itu ketemu nih pelakunya nih, kira-kira pembunuhnya nih mau ke siapa nih? Sama si Navia ketemu kan. Ya udah pengen ke tempatnya Navia. Pindah kan. Pas udah pengen, ayo kata Nuvilet di kantornya Nuvilet ngomong gini, ayo kita ke tempatnya Navia karena udah ketemu kurang lebih pembunuhnya siapa. Ya udah, pas udah kelar kan harusnya kan kita kan teleport ya. Oh udah kelar, udah kita bisa pencet map, kita teleport ke tempat selanjutnya ya. Nah, pas Nuvilet bilang begitu, ayo kita ke tempat Navia. Layar hitam kan, berarti kita pengen harusnya teleport. Tiba-tiba ganti skin lagi, tiba-tiba Nuvilet duduk. Oh, kalian ada apa perlu di sini? Tiba-tiba ngomong gitu anjing. Kalian ada apa perlu di sini? Kalian udah ini itulah. Perasaan tadi bahasa nyari Melusin, kok tiba-tiba lu nanya perlu apa sih bangsat? Gue bilang gitu kan dalam hati gue. Anjing, ini kok di story ini nabrak bangsat. Tiba-tiba lanjut. Anjing lu aduh pusing anjing. Di kantornya dia juga. Sialan. What the fuck man? Jadi kayak tiga udahlah. Itu sedih emang, iya lagi sedih-sedihnya tiba-tiba story-nya beda anjing, kan tai ya. Emang bedaki sebel banget gue. Soalnya dulu pernah, iya anjir kayak gitu kan, gue baru pertama kali ngerasain nih. Itu sedih emang, iya lagi sedih-sedihnya tiba-tiba ganti story. Gue pengen lanjutin story yang si ini Melusin itu kebentrok sama Archon Quest sama quest Lini. Ya udah gue kelarin Lini dulu dah, Archon Quest nanti dah, soalnya Archon Quest pasti seru kan. Soalnya gue tanya Febri, Archon Quest kalau sambil baca berapa lama Feb? Katanya 4 jam sampai 5 jaman. Anjing, 4 jam sampai 5 jaman. Udah lah, Lini dulu dah. Story quest Lini dulu dah. Gue bilang anjing 4 jam 5 jaman. Gue rencana ntar sore mau streaming ML soalnya. Kalau nggak habis maghrib. Patokannya sore lah. Gue udah ini ya, mulai hari ini, mulai sekarang gue udah nge-share schedule tiap minggu. Jadi kayak nih kalian, gue udah share nih. Gue tiap minggu nih udah ada schedule-nya sekarang. Nanti gue share di sini ya, di pengumuman. Tuh schedule-nya untuk Sabtu Minggu, tergantung lihat nanti ya. Sabtu Minggu kan seharian, jadi gue schedule-nya mau nyesuaiin nanti di hari Jumat. Oke, biasanya ada game baru. Rencananya mau main banyak game di hari Sabtu Minggu. Jadi udah mulai fokus lagi YouTube lagi, oke? Dan gue lanjut story dulu. Panjang nih anjing hari ini bangsat.
But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Gemma? So you are the one who's been threatening her.
Game hakimku, iya itu schedule-nya game hakim Takayami.
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability. But you people, you never even knew him, but for some reason you just wouldn't drop it. Which is why you can't leave this place alive. Take them out.
Si Loren lu
Make it quick.
jahat ya.
Do your worst.
Panjang perjalanan lu. Soalnya bentar. Anjing.
Hey! Rain cutter! No, my sword!
Oh iya, apa namanya? Tadi mau ngomong apa gue ya? Lupa lah gue, tolol. Oh iya. Gue pengen nabung ini sebetulnya.
You kids are
Pengen
tougher than you look.
coba kayak Kelly, nabung sampai Archon Nathan keluar. Anjing Kelly ngegacha anjing Furinanya C6 anjing signature lagi. Modalnya gue lihat kemarin dia bikin konten tuh 79.000 apa berapa gitu ya, kurang lebih 90.000 primogem kayak 90.000 berapa 80.000 primogem kayak nggak tahu deh. C6 Furina anjir, gue langsung termotivasi kayaknya gue bakal nabung juga deh sampai Archon Nathan kan. Soalnya kan cara ini Archon Nathan itu kan dapat titelnya God of War kan. Dulu aja apa ya nabung. Weh berbeda kayak sekarang guys. Soalnya si Archon Nathan ini kayak Archon kuat guys. Soalnya dia dapat titel God of War kan, dewa perang guys. Si Nathan ini, dewa Nathan ini. Feeling gue sih harusnya lebih kuat dari Raiden sih. Kan untuk soal damage ya, damage sendiri ya, damage solo tuh paling gede kan Raiden ya, damage solo ya. Kalau damage reaction ya Nahida, Furina gitu-gitulah. Masih ada yang lain lah. Cuma kalau damage solo tuh Raiden kan paling gede gitu. Kratos iya ini soalnya dapat titel Dewa Nathan itu God of War soalnya masalahnya. Jadi kayak wah ini kayak horor nih karakter. Ya udah coba nabung di dia aja ntar. Cewek soalnya dari apa Stefan Story Quest apa gitu yang kata itu tulisannya her gitu, pokoknya manggil pakai di bahasa Inggris her gitu. Her berarti kan her itu kan dia perempuan kan, berarti ya cewek gitu. Dan nanti Dewa Nathan itu nanti dewa yang ngasih tahu kebenarannya ke si Traveler. Udah ada iniannya kan dari ituan Tefat ini. Tefat apa sih namanya anjing? Apa sih namanya? Lupa lah gue anjir. Tefat Chapter Storyline. Ini kita langsung ke skip ini aja nih. Nih. 3 tahun yang lalu anjir. Nathan ya, mana sih Nathan? Nih.
The victors shall burn bright, while the losers must turn to ash. When the god of war shares this secret with the traveler.
Tuh, ketika Dewa Perang membagikan rahasianya ke Traveler itu karena dia si Dewa Perang itu punya alasannya tersendiri gitu. Kayaknya udah mulai kebaca sih, kayak tuh Arkon itu si Sarisa itu atau Arkon itu pengen ngebantah Kalistia gitu, soalnya si Furina kan udah itu ngebantah Kalistia. Jadi ya udahlah, sabar ya. Kita nunggu God of War aja kan. Kratos lah, lihat kalah Kratos 5 kali. Janganlah kayak anjing lo ya, doain bangsat. Gue menang ini dapat God of War. Kayak lo nggak tahu kan? Nama gue Marshall kan kalau di in game gitu. Tahu nggak kenapa milih nama Marshall? Sebenarnya tuh namanya dulu waktu zaman kuliah tuh nickname gue di in game tuh nickname-nya tuh Mars doang, Mars kayak nama planet Mars. Cuman sebenarnya bukan karena nama planet sebetulnya ya. Karena Mars itu ini apa namanya dewa perang. Dewa perang mana gitu? Dewa perang apa gitu? Lupa gue anjing, mitologi mana? Dewa perang mitologi gitu loh. Nih Romania tuh, mitologi Romania. God of War. Nah, pokoknya dewa abis itu Zeusnya itu Jupiter kalau nggak salah, Jupiter. Jadi kayak nama-nama planet, dewa tapi nama-nama planet. Nah, di Mars ini si God of War. Nah, ya udahlah, abis itu udahlah bosan gitu gue tambahin Martial jadi Martial. Lol, kan the king. Lo kan the king of Red of bacot anjing. Itu maksudnya nama nickname Martial tuh itu sebetulnya. God of War sebetulnya pengennya dari dulu itu teman-teman.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't help you now.
Title God of War tuh GG, bro.
I think it's high time you started talking.
Bukan
And what
Bruno
I'd really
Mars.
like to know is, why did you murder Caesar?
Kayak gue tahu kayak suara gue mirip kayak Bruno Mars, jadi kayak ya udahlah nggak usah dibahas-bahas lah. Gue tahu kayak gue tampan dan suara gue bagus kayak Bruno Mars, tuh jangan iri gitu lah.
If I had a Mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Caesar, everyone else did. But I was the real genius magician. Me! He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today. The aristocrats doffed their hats to me!
So it was jealousy.
Enggak, pokoknya hari ini harus balikin bintang anjing.
Hatred, more like. I hated Caesar. All he cared about was his magic. He lived and breathed it. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him, never bothering to think about Mora. What sort of fool devotes their life to the art of deception and never has a Mora to show for it? But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. No one gave me a second look.
Tapi jujur nih story-nya si Lini nggak bagus-bagus
your
sama.
master's amazing, isn't he? Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, mastered all the skills, and it brought me nothing more than the life I already had.
Ngomongnya lama banget anjing. Gue tadi hari ini dapat satu artefak Raiden yang bagus. Jadi secara tidak langsung, per hari ini Raiden gue dinyatakan belum jadi, tetap belum jadi. Tapi 4 artefaknya tuh udah mantap. Kayak 4 dari 5 artefaknya udah mantap, tinggal aja satu doang yang dari dulu gue permasalahin, jam pasir dah itu. Jam pasir gue tuh pakai energi recharge, ada crit damage, cuman crit damage-nya tuh nggak jelek gitu loh. Crit damage 7%, crit rate 9% gitu jelek. Tapi yang lain tuh udah mantep banget gitu. Tadi pagi awal-awal gue nggak gacha pakai scam box artefak Raiden, dapat gelasnya, dapat tekonya. Apa tuh yang kata artefak ketiga sebelum crit damage yang mahkota sebelah kirinya kan, paling kanan sebelah kirinya itu ada yang kan Raiden kan pakai attack persen, ada situ pakai attack persen kan. Di situ tadi gue dapat crit damage full 5 kali naiknya crit damage. Pertama 3 stat, pas kebuka crit rate kan, crit damage itu. Nah, habis itu naikin sampai level 20 full semuanya naik crit damage. Jadi udah nambah gitu. Jadi tinggal satu lagi. Habis itu tamat Raiden anjing setelah berapa tahun anjing bangsat. Masih ada. Bangke. Kayak soalnya dia doang kayak yang C3 kayak. Gue pengen dia jadi satu-satunya karakter pertama gue yang C6. Cuman gimana gue pengen nabung sama God of War anjing, gimana nih anjing.
He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their mora. There was nothing he hated more than... And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I dabbled in my own brand of money-making magic, he would expose me and it would destroy me. I had to kill him. There was no other way. He had to go.
Emblem.
And this was your only motive?
It was reason enough. What other motive would I need?
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, maybe you were in love with Gemma, but she was engaged to Caesar.
In love with Gemma? Don't be ridiculous.
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question. Are you the Phantom Weasel?
I am.
Iya, nambung aja sampai Nathan ini sih ya kayak. Ini mau niatnya nih mulai per nanti tanggal 25 gue gajian. Per tanggal 25 gue pengen udah mulai ini apa kayak tiap bulan mau di battle passin, tiap bulan mau di blessingin gitu loh. Genshin, tapi HSR enggak kayaknya anjing. HSR tuh karakternya semuanya bagus, gue udah berkali-kali bilang anjing, jadi kayak I don't really need gitu karakternya kan. Cuman emang jadinya aja susah. Ya kita dapetin God of War lah setidaknya lah, ini harusnya tuh Dewa Perang, harusnya tuh dia tuh ofensif banget harusnya ya. Masalahnya elemennya api men, si Dewa Perang itu. Si God of War itu masalahnya elemennya api, lu tahu kan kalau api gimana anjing. Api damage-nya nggak ngotak cok. Api air F2P kayak gue nyimak, kayak gue nggak percaya sama bibir lo yang ngomong F2P, gue colok bibir lo pakai paku kayak anjing.
Caesar was so strict with me. He insisted that his way was the right way, that the sole purpose of magic was to bring joy to the world. I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the
Oh yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how much it was worth.
That's just how it looked from the outside. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing.
So that's the story, huh?
What choice do I have? So be it.
That's
Very well. In that case, I'll contact the guards.
Story-nya nggak bagus-bagus amat.
Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
Next Space
I'll
ada
meet you
Pyro
just
juga
outside
kan.
the workshop when I'm back.
Setahu gue Raiden, abis itu si Navia, nggak ada Pyro setahu gue kayak. Oh iya, itu mah Yoimiya kayak. Yoimiya pokoknya Raiden, Navia, Yoimiya, satu lagi siapa sih? Lupa gue, ada satu lagi. Karakter Iran setahu gue satu lagi tuh. Ini story penting loh, Nu. Enggak, ini kayak tapi gue udah dapet storynya Takayami, kayak dia ngebunuh Caesar karena berdasarkan iri gitu pokoknya. Tapi nggak gue baca sih itu barusan. Pokoknya berdasarkan inilah dia ngebunuh Caesar biar Caesar tuh gagal sama performanya tadi gitu. Ini kan tujuan untuk dapetin story ini kan biar si Lini ini pas kontes pas perform nanti di acaranya nggak ada yang gangguin gitu kan. Kan Lini kan dapat surat ancaman gitu kan. Makanya ada hubungannya dengan Arkon, kuasa Arkon. Iya paham. Udah dapat garis besarnya, udah dapat kayak. Kalau Kayla, cara Pyro itu mungkin nanti si ini katanya Arlecchino Pyro kayak. Arlecchino 2 pes lagi so gue dah anjing. Besok sama pes 1 pes lagi.
At least I can find...
Yakin sih Valentino. Yakin kayak. Wah.
Lily has told me the whole story.
Fatui yang mesti dimainin siapa ya sih Fatui Harbingers? Oh iya sih ini ya. Hilde sama ini ya. Apa namanya? Anaknya Raiden itu ya. Nggak tahu kayak Halecino susah anjing kayaknya masalahnya anjing. Cantik masalahnya anjing, rambutnya bondol, demen gue cewek rambut bondol. Cuman enggak deh, cuman Genshin tuh pas di trailernya nggak mantep bentukan karakternya, cuman pas udah di dalam in game burik deh ngapa ya? Klorin, elektro, jangan kayak kebanyakan elektro anjing ini gua butuh karakter S. Sumpah satu-satunya elemen yang nggak gue punya, nggak sebenarnya ada satu lagi, ada dua deh. Lebih tepatnya gue ada elemennya, cuman karakternya tuh nggak sakit-sakit banget. Gue butuh elemen es sama elemen air. Air tatang anjing, tatang lo tau lah anjing kagak OP banget. Harusnya gue kemarin gacha ini, gacha si New Willet, cuman kan ada Furina jadi kayak ketutup gitu ya udah. Dan gue butuh Ayaka juga mau nggak mau anjir. Kalau api malistik anjing, api malistik udah bejebet anjing. Nah kemarin Wiro kan cryo, daripada Wiro gue mendingan Ayaka kayak, soalnya Ayaka kemarin Ayaka tuh udah ada artefaknya, tinggal dipasang doang, udah ada artefak sama karakter sama senjatanya. Kalau Wiro kan mesti cari lagi senjatanya ini lagi gitu loh, kayak nambah kerjaan lagi gitu. Ayaka udah ada artefaknya, gue juga nyesel skip movie, makanya anjing bebangke. Sebenarnya kalau ditanya nyesel sih nyesel, cuman kalau untuk pas dapat Furinanya ini nggak bisa dibilang nyesel juga sih. Furina bagus juga masalahnya kayak win dua-duanya bagus gitu, cuma emang susah, pilihan susah aja.
Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and to framing him for the Phantom Weasel's crimes?
Look who's finally developed a conscience. What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny?
Should
we start preparing for your show?
Iya, harusnya gue udah bisa sama senjatanya anjir, tapi malah nggak dapet, malah pensi kemarin anjir.
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first.
Good point. We should.
Jadi tuh kemarin tuh gue udah cerita sebetulnya, tapi waktu itu ceritanya tuh nggak ada lo kayak. Gue sebenarnya pengen gacain Nuville tuh kemarin, kalau dapat senjatanya. Jadi kemarin tuh dapat senjata Nuville kan sama Homa ya. Senjata Nuville kan sama Homa. Nih gue udah bilang nih, kan gue red on tuh Nuville. Nah kalau misalkan gue dapat senjatanya, oh nih PT-nya udah 60 waktu itu. Kalau gue dapat senjata Nuville, gue gacain Nuville. Gue nggak jadi, ya kan? Soalnya kan gue OP banget tuh karakter. Gue lihat dapetnya Homa anjing bangsat. Habis itu udah nggak jadi kayak anjir, langsung cancel gue, udahlah Furina lah anjir gue bilang.
If we've got nothing else to do.
Lihat aja Homa gue 2 sekarang nggak tahu nih mau gue apain nih. Bedanya gue di stop di PT 50. Gue udah 60 soalnya pasti ini kan kalau 60 PT senjata kan sama kayak PT 70 karakter. Jadi paling 5 kali lagi dapat gitu kan. Ini nggak tahu buat siapa nih, kata Febri buat Zhongli. Anjing, buat Zhongli ngapain cok? Maksudnya Zhongli nambah HP-nya doang masalahnya. Masalahnya kan buff yang bikin ya, maksudnya cuma setengah doang gitu, setengah buff-nya doang yang dipakai Zhongli, berarti kan di bawahnya nih nggak dapet gitu loh. Ini nggak cocok buat siapa-siapa anjir, masalahnya cuman cocok status sama setengahnya doang buat Tatang. Ini Tatang staff Homa gimana, dan ceritain Tatang sama Homa. Gue udah miliki, mau gue tambahin aja kali ya nih anjir gue bilang. Tuh tapi nambahin cuma 5% anjir. Kemudian 1% dari Max Happy. Attack tambahan. Berarti 1 tambah 1,2 lah ya, 2,2 lah coba. Kita kalkulator lah. 2, ini kan misalkan kalkulator dulu deh. Kita aduh kok ongkes sih anjir. Bentar geng, gua ini dulu. Nih kita kalkulator dulu dah, kita kalkulator. Gue pengen tahu perbandingannya berapa anjir masalahnya. Gue tau mana? Xiao, iya Xiao sih bagus sih kayak, cuman kan udah ada Vortex, ngapain anjir? Udah ada Primo dia aja, ini ngapain pakai Homa anjir? Lagi pula Xiao emang identiknya bawahnya pakai Bennett kai. Masa tiba-tiba ini lo mau kalau gitu Xiao-nya nggak pakai Bennett dong? Jelek. Mana Xiao tahu. Bisa darah gue 33.000 lah, 33.500.
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly.
Yang untuk yang sekarang dulu lah. Kali 0,8%. Kali 0,8%, 1,8 lah ya. Kan di bawah HP ya kan? Kali 1,8%. Bonus attack-nya 603. Gue pengen lihat signifikannya berapa gitu. Berarti 603 kan? Berarti dari ini 1.700 lah ya. 1.700 lah ya. Nah kalau misalkan kita refine, nambah jadi 2,2 berarti kan? 2,2, tapi ningkatin HP 25% anjing. Nambah 5% doang sih, tapi ya udah lah, tar dulu lah. Berarti misalkan dari damage-nya 2,2, 33.500, 33.500. Woi, kok penuh sih ini? 3.500, woi, dikali 2,2%. 700, nambahnya cuma 100 perak, 130 perak anjing. Apa rasa bangsat? Udahlah, nggak tahu lagi gue, senjata kayak emang cocok buat dia doang anjing. Gue refine lah. Coba gue tahu kali ya. Test drive, apa test drive? Apa yang mesti kita test drive, bro?
Good eye.
Barusan saya lihat itu nge-lag itu.
Let's make haste.
Darah gue 34.000 cok. Nambah darahnya, lihat tuh. Dia tuh saya bergetar. 1.800. Ini belum aktif ya?
Silly churl, Billy.
Coba kalau aktif berapa? 4.000. Ah boleh lah. 4.000 cok, boleh lah. boleh dah, nggak nyesel gua. boleh 4.000 anjing. Udah kayak Yanfe bangsat. Udah kayak Yanfe anjing.
Silly churl, Billy churl, silly Billy, hilly churl.
Luar biasa nih. Party utau gini geng. Party utau gini soalnya. Dia Singkyu atau Yelan, abis itu 2 Geo, tapi satu lagi bisa Yelan sih. Bisa Yelan juga di sini gua ngerti Yelan. Soalnya kalau 2 Geo gini cuma ngarepin ini doang. Efek 2 ini aneh doang, resonansinya doang tuh. Meningkatnya gue biasa itu karakter yang sedang lindungi perisai akan mendapat efek berikut meningkatkan 15% damage saat karakter mengakibatkan damage terhadap musuh mengurangi 20% Geo resist. Cuman nambahin damage doang, harusnya sama Yelan sih satu lagi paling. Coba kalau ditambah Seal Zhongli ya, kan dia selalu sama Seal Zhongli kan. Bentar ya, tunggu habis. Nambah 15% damage ya. 2 Hydro bakal 36k plus.
Solidify.
Oh masih sama, mungkin peningkatan damage ke musuh kali nantinya. Masih sama. Masih 4.000. Dah. Gue kalau Pak Ero, pokoknya elemen api sama listrik udah hatam lah anjing karakternya. Maksudnya udah banyak pilihannya, gue nggak ada es sama air doang.
Are you going to hold a festival?
I've been waiting for you for...
Halo Eko Januar. Duh, ini lama nih anjir story bangsat. Ini Fountain of Luzin apa sih anjir? Gue nge-refine karakter senjata lu anjir. Soalnya nggak tahu lagi senjatanya buat siapa lagi selain Hotao. Kagak ada yang cocok. Cocok, cuman setengahnya doang cocoknya anjing. Beda kayak senjata yangnya Ayaka nih. Ayaka kan bisa nih. Tuh. Bisa dipakai catching, bisa dipakai Ayaka. Ini kan masih kepake semua gitu loh. Kalau Homa ini pakai Zhongli buat apaan? Dipakai Xiao buat apaan? Kagak ada efeknya. Cuman efek ini aneh doang. Oh ini anjing. 20 ya? Aduh belum ini lagi, malas banget gua, bangsat. Buset. Gajah siapa? Gajah Furina C1 lah, jangan senjatanya lah. Oh nggak dapet tuh. Boleh, Yunjin boleh. Lumayan buat supportnya Ayato, nambah aja. Anjing DP ningkat 20% cok. Ini DP udah 2600 anjing. Tapi elemental mastering apa banyak banget 124. Ya udahlah. Ini bener kan ya? Bener deh. Buset boy. Blay. Anjing gue dikacangin. Gue di Discord dikacangin sama temen gue ngentot. Let's go. Oh di mana anjir? Oh di bawah coy. Anjir Linet di sini sampai malam. Boleh.
Ah, you're back.
Anjing apa suaranya ini
You
banget.
were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Anjir
Your
dessert.
third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about this. Everything in moderation. You're not gonna have any room left for dinner now.
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point. Well, it's done now. But try to eat a more balanced diet in the future.
Point taken.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him into custody as we speak.
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I still didn't know if I could trust you, but now it seems I can. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but I...
Sabar bu.
Okay, we understand. He did threaten you. Paimon would find it hard to trust strangers in your position too. But you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything's gonna be okay.
Sorry. My emotions are all over the place right now. I've been waiting for this day to come for so long. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I had people watching me all the time.
Dia cewek
So I
itu
couldn't
penjahatnya.
risk
Ini
looking
penjahat.
into it.
Ini bukan dia baik anjir, dia baik tau. Dia sayang sama suaminya.
I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me. And then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. So I never had the courage to speak out. Thank you all. Truly. Thank you so much.
Itu penangkapan Lorenzo udah mengadakan baca peringatan bagi Caesar. Dia tuh cuma sayang sama suaminya. Orang-orang pada salah sangka sama suaminya.
I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that there were problems between him and Caesar in public. From the outside, it looked like they got along great.
To think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting dragged through the mud. It's a travesty. At least his soul can finally rest in peace now, thanks to your efforts.
Kasian nih.
If only I'd realized.
Don't blame yourself, Gemma. This isn't your fault.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar wouldn't want to see you spending it feeling guilty.
Cheer up, Gemma.
Sumpah, lu tau gak sih si Linet nih kayak ini. Woi.
Ada suara gue.
Anjing dari tadi bangsat.
Ada nggak?
Ada. Masuk. Gila lu. Ya udah gue masih streaming gue paling bentar lagi kelar nih habis story ini lah.
Mana jadi ML nggak?
Semalam gue streaming 4 jam anjing dari jam 8 sampai jam 12.
Capek banget anjing semalam. Sekarang lah anjing.
Sekarang nanti sore main. Kalau sekarang full story dulu ada 1 hari. Itu gue udah ada schedule anjing. Schedule-nya besok ML, besoknya lagi story, game story gitu-gitu.
Lu mau main apaan anjir?
Besok gue lihat tanggal 21 ada yang salah satu game prioritas Overcooked tuh diskon dari 190 ke 50.000.
Game yang mana?
Overcooked 2.
Overcooked gas
50.000 jadinya. Aduh anjing. Ya udah bentar lah, gue lagi streaming bentar lagi kelar kok. Ntar join lagi.
Lu anjing gak ada.
My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like to come along? It might raise your spirits.
Si Linet ini lupa tadi mirip kayak ini. Zeta anjing. Biasanya kan catching ya, tapi catching sama Zeta. Cuman kalau personalnya kan lebih kayak ke Linet gitu.
This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor? Thank you. I'll be there.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out on a free magic. Wait, Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the 2 kids Caesar taught magic to were Linny and Lynette or not. Linny changed the topic back in the workshop, so we didn't get a chance to bring it up. Oh well, guess we'll just have to ask Linny tomorrow evening.
Udah belum sih? Oh besoknya. Oh tinggal pertunjukan aja ya. Ini apaan lagi anjing? Lucu aja Melusin ya. Melusin tuh kawaii ya. Mana sih ini ya? Duduknya paling depan, Cok.
Paimon's excited to see another of Linny's magic shows.
Nih pasti dia pakai ini nih, performa Cesar.
Not this time. My brother's going solo today.
Oh.
So I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's ready because the show is about to begin. The great magician Linny has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new grand finale that no audience has ever seen before.
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical and miraculous.
Exciting stuff.
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. Caesar was a famous magician too. So, how did you two first meet, Gemma?
Lu bisa duduk gak sih, Paimon? Anjir, terbang mulu.
Well, I was out on the street once, and I saw him performing for little children. Children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing way of bringing them into a dreamlike world. And somehow, I felt drawn to him too. So I went up and asked him to do a trick for me.
Aw, that sounds so romantic. What trick did he do?
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand, snapped his fingers, and it magically appeared on my head. I was so happy that day. No one had ever given me a flower before that.
Oh, that's so cute. Actually, now that you mention it, Linny's done that one before.
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart, just like Caesar. So let's treasure the time we have with him. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might be gone.
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but at the very least, no one's gonna be intimidating you from now on. You can breathe easy at last, right?
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now, Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what?
Huh?
The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
Hah? Apakah apa ini bilang Takeami benar?
What do you mean, Phantom Weasel?
As Linny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no more cards up their sleeve. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put an end to it.
What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't like the Traveler. Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on, say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all enjoying the performance so far. There will now be a brief intermission, after which Linny will perform the most electrifying act of tonight's show. The one we've all been waiting for. The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House, so please make your way outside in a calm and orderly fashion.
Ah, di luar.
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon.
Anjir, kok gue bingung anjir. Kok di Phantom Weasel sih bukan si Lorenzo? Hah? What the fuck? Anjir, kena gocek gue.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid I can't do any tricks to liven up the mood. This is a big mistake for a magician to make, but thankfully, I do have a backup plan.
Lenny? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago.
All in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really? Well then, let's hear it.
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for... Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities.
So, being the master deceiver she was, the Weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now, all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. Maybe I don't need to get my hands dirty after all. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the Weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really another mastermind behind all this. But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale.
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the Weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me, even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented in this regard. With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is unshakable, even under threats of violence. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your plight. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his demise?
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were both in on it? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even at the end instead of a...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Linny, if you're so confident in your version of events, then I think the answer should be obvious. Having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she could take care of Lorenzo's loved ones.
An excellent answer, though sadly a little dull.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting, I'd be much obliged.
As a matter of fact, there's one thing I'd really like to understand. Why would the real Weasel have targeted things that only have value to other people? Could you shed any light on that?
Of course. After all, we're just telling stories here, aren't we? If I had to guess, I would say that the real Weasel must have had a terrible childhood. Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. Betrayed. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of ink and pen. She'd sew ugly rag dolls from whatever scrap material she could get her hands on. This was her only source of happiness in life. But it was all she needed. Once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was... This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. I detest the happiness of others. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true. And it will fill the void in my soul.
That's some pretty...
Now, does this story satisfy you?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
Huh. That's right! Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light!
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. Linny. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now? You were the one who posted that letter outside the Opera House.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the Weasel to show themselves. Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most...
10 years ago? Wait. Oh, I get it.
Oh.
You were those two obnoxious kids.
Gue dapat ceritanya nih.
It's been so long.
Jadi,
You're all grown up now.
Jadi tujuan
I
Lini,
didn't recognize you.
si Caesar kan ngajarin sulap ke Lini sama Linet. Pokoknya diajarin lah, bahkan si Caesar itu pengen dipanggil master gitu kan sama Lini sama Linet. Pokoknya intinya dia berterima kasih lah si Lini sama Linet sama Caesar ini. Dan singkat cerita, nama Caesar tuh dinodai sama perempuan ini, sama si Phantom Thief gitu-gitu lah. Dan tujuan dari cerita ini, Dini sama Linet pengen bersihin nama Caesar yang udah ternodai. Oh, agar orang-orang gak ngira si Caesar itu orang jahat gitu. Jadi ya tadi apa sih, mungkin gue salah baca apa enggak. Jadi nulis suratnya itu sendiri itu si Lini sama Linet. I don't know, man.
He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10...
We remember all our debts. However, 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, and his legacy... But we did not forget.
And? What exactly did you take?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, I think that applies to you too. Truth can take... Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably and...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime. Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So I think you know, but that truth is gone now. And I guarantee you.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing... I'm sure you're all wondering what...
A high-altitude escape?
Bener kan ya, sulapnya Caesar aja.
I'm sure you all remember the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his fatal fall, after which we have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused.
Guess that's my cue to leave. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight, but you alone are my true witnesses.
Lenny, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone. One day...
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Lenny said, when you're ready, let's head out.
What about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Linny after the show...
Alright, well, let's go and watch.
Buset.
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright, we're used to that.
Lucu banget.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Linny is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Watch out!
Copot anjing.
Mysterious.
Wah, ini bintang 5.
Surprising. And logic defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling, and the next, he turned into flowers.
Di belakang ada melusin anjing. Lucu banget.
How could he possibly have...
How mysterious. I didn't blink once. He just vanished right in front of my eyes.
What a heart-stopping magic show! This was really worth the trip. Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star magician Linny has fulfilled a wish on his behalf. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better grand...
Looks like everyone really loved Linny's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Linny anywhere. Where did... Oh! Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. But, oh, yeah, that's probably... Alright, let's go look...
Sama kami Caesar sekarang. Anjing masa ngilangnya ke situ, jago juga dia anjir. Sumpah nih gue teleport ke sini sih. Story-nya sih beda anjing, enggak usah di sini deh gue. Banyak banget story, cok.
Linny! There you are. Are you alright? Paimon was scared to death when the chain broke. Paimon was sure something had gone horribly wrong.
Magic is a performance art. A magician has to get creative to keep the audience on tenterhooks. That's our job. So I tweaked Caesar's original setup a little to keep it fresh. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of falling, suddenly feeling weightless, seeing the sky and the ground spinning and spinning. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar thought in those final moments. Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or did he believe that it was his own slip-up right until the end?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop. You learned magic from Caesar once, didn't you? When was that?
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda when we approached. I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived by secretly learning magic from street performers. But I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand, hone my misdirection skills, and make niftier props. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves. But without proper guidance...
So that's why you sought...
Yes. We figured there was no harm in all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was very good to us. But for instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic, I answered, but in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in, what amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell him the truth. Trust is a beautiful thing. Sadly,
Winnie...
Still worried about the way I feel? You really are a gentle soul. But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the House of the Hearth, lies and selfishness have followed me and Lynette everywhere we go. After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his death, and was now declared to be the Phantom Weasel. That night, I remembered his smile. But as I lay there, to keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium after a show, full of seats once occupied by all the people who left. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma. Because I felt it.
Yeah, sure. We've had to say our fair share of goodbyes during our journey, too. Delicious food, fun toys, and the traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on things like this, and all the unhappy stuff goes right out the window. You know, traveler, doesn't that kind of make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the... Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's what gave us the strength to get through the darkest. That's why the darkness never consumed me, and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious ray of light that shines through. All right, time to lighten this conversation up a little. What did you think of the...
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. We spent most of our time in the Opera House just talking and pretty much missed the entire first half of the show. Winnie?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly...
Aw, come on! Surely you can think of some...
Oh, all right then. I'll give it a... Watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one here with me. Okay, try this. Count down with me.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look around. Maybe the flowers appeared somewhere else.
Really? Let's see.
Hah? Kok tiba-tiba dia tidur?
Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, right? This one's called... But more importantly, Paimon has to know how the trick is done. Please, Linny, pretty please!
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me as teacher.
Fine. Please, teacher?
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you. Namely, the student of magic cannot solely...
Is that it?
Ah, look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I look forward to...
Alright, fine. Shall we head back now too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird tomorrow. Paimon bets Linny and Caesar will be plastered all over. Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning and see what we can find out.
Wah, nabrak anjir. Ya, sampai sini dulu teman-teman. Gue udah dulu ya. Thank you Takayami, thank you Kayla, thank you Eko Januar, thank you siapa lagi sih? Ada ya sih? Nalda, Jennifer. Thank you ya. Udah 4 jam kayaknya, 3,5 jam nih. Lanjut lagi nanti. Assalamualaikum. Dadah. Peace.